right, so we're here at Hannover Messe, day 3 at the HiveMQ booth. By request, we are going to go ahead and ask Magnus here, who's the Senior IoT Solutions Architect at HiveMQ, to walk through the modules demo for HiveMQ. Yesterday I was here, Chris walked me through specifically a module for parsing Sparkplug B in the HiveMQ data hub, and we're going to ask Magnus to do the same thing, but I'm asking him a couple other questions, and we're going to start with, Magnus, this week, what is it that everybody always wants to announce something at Hannover Messe? Absolutely. What's HiveMQ announcing? Yeah,
we've got a couple big things in the works. Certainly the main thing we're talking about today is our overall sort of architecture in terms of taking that edge data with HiveMQ Edge, bringing it into a factory local UNS, and then bringing that up into an enterprise UNS, and really sort of flowing that data through the system. Our protocol converters, our data hub module that is relatively new in HiveMQ Edge, and really just doing that transformation, that data normalization as close to the edge as possible.
And what's really interesting is, like, most people think of HiveMQ as just a broker, right? But the reality is that HiveMQ is more of a IIoT platform that is built around a broker, right?
Absolutely.
And so yesterday, Chris walked me through the modules, which is a new feature in Data Hub.
Yep.
And let me ask you this: first off, what's the reception been like this week? Because I know for me, I was like, oh, we've been waiting for this, okay? But more importantly, what has the rest of the attendees been saying?
It's been a phenomenal conversation to have. Not 10 minutes ago, I had a customer who walked up and said, hey, I'm having this problem where my historian is Sparkplug compatible, and that's not a problem at all, but I also have a data lake that I'm trying to flow this data into, and it doesn't have Sparkplug compatibility, and so how do I make sure that data is usable within my data lake? And really this Sparkplug to JSON conversion is the way to do that. And making it really easy with our modules is a really great next step for us.
So Sparkplug is really, I get this question all the time. When do I use native MQTT 5? When do I use Sparkplug? When do I use PubSub from OPC UA? I'm still struggling to answer the last question, when do I use Part 14? And I'm trying to do it in good faith, I swear to you I am. Sparkplug's really easy whenever you want to encapsulate data around a device. So I want to put a wrapper around a device and send everything as an edge of network device. Sparkplug is your solution. The problem is that on the cloud layer, outside of Google Cloud, right now Google Cloud's the only only cloud provider that is natively ingesting and parsing Sparkplug. That they announced that this week. Outside of Google Cloud, you have to take the data that has been encoded with Google Protobuf, decode it, and you need to flatten it, and you need to send it into the data lake. And what we're going to do today is we're going to Chris showed a demo of a module that they wrote in the data hub that does just that for you. So
correct,
take it away, Magnus.
Absolutely, so really there's sort of two things that we're talking about here. The first is a new preview feature, this is unreleased as of yet, which is we're adding this concept of modules. Effectively, modules are pre-packaged data transformations for Data Hub that effectively allow us to bundle a data transformation you might want to do. I'm actually part of the professional services team here at HiveMQ, so we might be able to do this for you as a service, build a module around it, you can build one yourself, that's fine. But on top of that, we've also released our first sort of module based on a lot of customer requests for Sparkplug to JSON conversion, and so I'll go ahead and create an instance of this. Furthermore, this demo is actually showing just what you described, which is I've got a Sparkplug generator on this side generating lots of Sparkplug messages. That's in Protobuf, it's serialized in Protobuf, and we can see that the output, if this was going to my data lake system, the output isn't really readable. It's not human readable, it's not really machine readable unless it understands that. So what we're going to do is turn on this protocol, or sorry, this module within Data Hub, and we'll see what happens here. So I'll go ahead and create an instance. I have this sort of shortened here, but I'll scroll through it really quickly. One of the nice things we're doing is providing you with logical defaults. So in many cases, you'll very likely be able to just go through and click yes, and you're good to go. So you'll see I'm not changing anything. I'm just going to go ahead and hit create, and then I'll scroll up, and I've now got an instance of this, and we can see we've got JSON over on the right there, ready to go. Now my data lake sees data that is useful, that is actually valid and useful. Once again, I can pause that so we get that view. and we're back to serialized protobuf and sort of unusable within that data lake or whatever that other system might be.
And we don't have to. And so real quick, because one question I didn't ask Chris yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'll ask two more.
Sure.
Number one, if I'm running this module, I am calling out specifically what I want the module to decode and publish as a JSON. Right?
Yeah.
It won't necessarily be the entire namespace, only what I call out.
That's correct. So in our sort of logical defaults, we chose anything that is D-data, but if you chose a different topic hierarchy with our wildcards and so on and so forth, you'd be able to choose specific topics to use with this system.
Perfect.
And then map them across to logical topics that would make sense as part of that.
And number two, obviously, how much is this going to cost? Is this going to be a feature wrapped into it for existing customers, or is it going to be an add-on? And can you give us a ballpark?
Yeah, cost isn't my area, not my department, but certainly Data Hub is a paid feature on top of our HiveMQ broker. But these modules are likely going to just be part of that very early product here. This was finished specifically for Hannover Messe, so don't have all that information yet, but stay tuned.
And what I'd like you guys to do is comment down below, what do you think of this feature? Right now, I think the way most people are doing this is they're either doing it in raw Python, right? They're literally writing a Python script to do this decoding and then publishing into a broker. That's the way we used to do it. Now we do it with HiveByte very often time. But we're doing HiveByte more at the enterprise level. This is really happening at the broker instance level, right? So, which gives you a lot more flexibility. But one more question for you. I interviewed Arlen Nipper a couple of weeks ago on our podcast, and one of the pieces of feedback that we gave Arlen about Sparkplug specifically, if you're not familiar with how the spec is written, the spec calls out that you need to publish your edge of network nodes into a root node called SPB v1.0, okay? And then essentially Sparkplug clients are looking for that root namespace, and then they're going into that root namespace. One of the things that we suggested was we would like the Sparkplug spec to be modified so that I could have many SPB v1.0s as children in a flat structure. So I could have something like a flat enterprise site area line, and then inside of the line have a directory called Edge. Inside of Edge have SPB v1.0, and now I've got my node published there. What do you think of that idea? I know that I'm throwing it on you here.
Absolutely.
What do you think of that idea?
No, I think it's really key to have modularity within your unified namespace, and I think that's something here at HiveMQ that we're thinking about is how do you make systems within your unified namespace modular and be able to plug them in at different levels. I can't say too much, but certainly something we're thinking about a lot.
Obviously, it would require everybody who's written clients. Obviously, it would require that they go back and refactor to be able to handle that. But in my head, that's not the lift there isn't that heavy, right? Not that heavy.
There's also the idea that those could be individual brokers within a larger namespace, and you could handle it in that way to a certain degree. But I think there's
agreed. Especially if you're settling on an OEM, right? Like say I go, listen, our broker infrastructure is going to be HiveMQ, right?
Yeah.
And that now what you're going to do is use that layer. You're going to use the features in Hive to achieve that same end, right?
Yeah, so HiveMQ would be sort of providing that feature set for you and be where you'd build some of that logic out, for sure.
Magnus, appreciate you, brother. Thank you guys. Like, subscribe, comment down below. We'll see you in the next one.